Alright guys, how's it going? So today is November the 27th, Wednesday. It's about 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Manitoba, Canada. And this is going to be the evening Bitcoin technical analysis where we are going to do a much more advanced technical analysis based on purely Elliott wave theory, okay? Alright, so let's review ourselves with where we are in this structure for the entire thing in my personal opinion. We're going to take a look at this from the weekly perspective because it gives you a much broader view of this, okay? So for the people that are not familiar with Elliott wave theory, I personally think it's one of the best things to learn, simply because it gives you a way to deduce possible paths, okay? A lot of people may think it's just a matter of drawing, lines and looking for waves and peaks and pivots, but it's a lot more to it than that. And the reason why some people excel better at it than other people is because of very logical deduction, like deductioning with lots of reasoning type of background, right? So I'm talking about not just critical thinking, but people who have been in fields where they are exposed to being forced to think in a very systematical type of process, right? Like I'm just as an example, like an engineer, for example, right? Or maybe like a chemist or a physicist or someone in a very scientific background who has a very set way of performing an experiment, right? And a way of researching to try to gather a specific type of data so it can formulate an opinion of theirs, right? So yeah, so that's why I like Elliott wave theory. I personally have a background in math and engineering, which helps me a lot, in my personal opinion, because I just think of like small things like Ichimoku, or sorry, I didn't mean Ichimoku, I meant Ishikawa, like fish diagrams for modes of failures and just things like that, right? Just from back in my younger days. Okay, so let's get on with this Elliott wave theory right here, okay? And let's just see exactly where we are in this specific structure throughout the entire thing. Okay, so we've talked about this many times prior. This structure right here, and we will summarize it one day again in due time, but for now I think that the focus should be directly on this specific structure here. I see a lot of different opinions right now, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion, okay? And I want to give it from the perspective of I googled and YouTube a lot of different Elliott wave analysis, but never even watched a second of their video. So I'm going to do this from an entirely unbiased perspective. And by the way, on a quick note, how do you guys like the Christmas decorations? It's not the best camera, but kind of cool so far, right? I'm digging it quite a bit this year. I'm a big Christmas person, if you guys don't know. So anyways, just want to show you guys a little bit about my place and bring the holiday spirit together, okay? So let's focus on this specific section without further ado. We're always going to review the very basic things of Elliott wave, and a lot of you know this already, and a lot of you do not know this already. The basic of an Elliott wave theory is that it has 5 fractals for an impulse wave going up, and they ebb and they flow on every single chart that you will ever see, with pivots and tops and bottoms and mountains that cause or that are created, and it's a beautiful thing to say. And there are a lot of rules for Elliott wave theory that are advanced, and I call this kind of like a corollary, kind of like an addition to it, or like a consequence as well in mathematics. And I'm gonna show you guys the basics of them first of all, okay? And we will get into a lot more detailed ones for sure down the road and more advanced theories, but just it's more like an introduction for the people that don't know a lot about Elliott wave theory, okay? So Elliott wave theory goes something like this. Right? You get 5 fractals going to the upside. And within each 5 of these fractals going to the upside, we call them an impulse wave, basically. There will be 5 inside of that. And there will be 5 inside of this, okay? Provided that they are impulsively moving to the upside. This is a good reminder always. So if we say that this right here is 1, right? Where this is, I'm not going to change the degree of the subwaves. If that is now 1 and there's 5 inside of all of these, well, if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside of that, then this one can also make a 1, right? And this can make a 2. So by deduction wise, if you can easily say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that just made a 2, and now this one also made a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then if that one made a 2, then this one will also make a 2 as well. Okay, and then you just keep going, right? And now it's going to be a 3, and a 4, and a 5. It's just going to keep going and going and going and going like that, right? And then because there's 5 fractals there, it's going to keep going eventually. And you just think of it like that. It's a never-ending one. And the reason why we see these small little subwaves and fractals inside of these other ones is because they're called degrees. Okay, Elliot wave, you can draw it like that very easily. Double click on it, and then you can look at the degree, right? I personally like to use minor because of the way it's annotated. So, okay, now we're gonna talk about sometimes when an Elliot wave theory, an Elliot wave, an impulse one doesn't actually succeed. Okay, sometimes it might fail. Now I do not believe in any way this is an A, B, C, D, E type of structure, which is more complicated, and we'll deal with that another time. But sometimes an impulse wave just simply does not succeed going to the upside, and it fails, fails miserably, right? When this happens, okay, when this happens, let's just say after the 5 waves, generally speaking, an ABC wave correction occurs, and then an impulse wave could be attempted. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's just say it only meets 3 waves, right? Or you know, like the 4th wave retraces really low, or the 5th wave doesn't even break the wave 3 territory, right? Then we just call that an impulse wave failure. Let's just actually say it made only 3 waves going to the upside, and the 4th didn't even form because it already miserably failed. Then what we end up doing is we end up calling this right here, okay, this is the W, okay, whoops, I'm sorry, my mistake there. This is the W, the beginning of the new impulse wave. That is the X, the point of failure in that impulse wave. And also now we have the XY, okay, the XY right here will make an ABC coming to the downside. Like that. Another zigzag coming to the downside. And that's where Y originally ends, where it has ABC here, and a new impulse wave should attempt to the upside. That's all based off of Elliot wave theory. In a nutshell, not even a nutshell, but just the very most basic principles of it. Okay? So now we're going to go to a lower time frame right here. Okay? Lower time frame right here. This was a very odd count, but as you know, we ended up calling this one here 3 to the upside here. 4, and that was the 5th. That was a huge extension of the wave 2 to 3 of waves 0, 1, and 2. Okay, I'm talking about Fibonacci extension. If we were to take this trend-based fib extension right here, and we go to the upside, that's a ridiculously amazing extension right here that ended up peaking very high to the point of about about 4 to 1. That's huge, right? And then this one did pretty crazy extensions as well. They probably got up to about 5, 6, 6, 6, 1 around there. Okay. Excuse me. Let me just find my water. All right. Now we're gonna go to right over here. We're gonna take a look at this structure. I'll try to center it more for you. I'm sorry about that. I know that's one of the complaints, and I'll be sure I listen to you guys. We're gonna take a look at it from example a 6-hour chart right here. We beat this with a dead horse before. Okay. We call this our ABC, A, B, and our C. Right there. And now we see that there's an impulse wave attempt going to the upside. Right here. They didn't even make 5 waves, okay? It didn't make 5 waves. In fact, it barely made 3 full ones, actually, okay? So because of that, remember that reference I made earlier about how if it makes 3 waves, let's give that an ABC right there instead, okay? So now this right here is the point of where it fails hard. Let me try to look for a big X symbol right there. Okay, this one failed incredibly hard, and here we say it is the point of origin where it has failed. Simple, right? So because of that, that is where the X is on the WXY. So the W starts right here. Okay, oops. W starts here, and the X is right there. Make sense? I'll keep that there just for annotation's sake so you can see it much more visibly. So W is there, X is where it fails, and this is basically where the Y is. Right here. Okay? So now, basically, we don't know where this Y was supposed to be. We were all hunting for it. But eventually, it got to this, where we were able to deduce that this right here was the A, something like this was the B. I think that we ended up saying that this was A, B, and C, right? So that was B, and then the C ended up being down over there. Okay? And we broke this down a lot before too. And we can do that again sometime soon if you like, as a reminder, rather than just watching the old video, right? We can just break it down to make it much more updated, the version. And the reason why we saw this as A, B, C in there, if you remember, we ended up calling this as an A, B to the C up there. Well, just for annotation purposes, on a minuet, taking that off, it goes like that, right? So right now we're in the minor, and I'm annotating this right here on the minuet scale, just for annotation purposes. Okay? And then we ended up counting somewhere like 1, and I think that was an ABC actually. 1, 2, and then 3, and then this made an ABC up there, right? ABC up there, and then this made the 5 waves coming to the downside to officially finish this Y. Okay? Pretty cool? Yeah, I'd say pretty cool. I remember calling that too, that around this range we were going to bounce. But now, guys, we ended up having a huge impulse wave to the upside, and we got a failed wave now, okay? I think that this really was a failed wave. And now we are working on another ABC correction altogether, which will now make a triple Elliot wave combo. So a triple Elliot wave combo goes something like this, for those that do not remember. Refresher time, is it? I think it is a refresher time. Alright, so it goes something like that. First wave failure. Here's where the Y ends. Another impulse wave going up with another X, and then another ABC to the downside that completes the Z. Okay? So here we get the ABC, sure. We'll just say that. Easy to talk about ABCs right now. Change that to minor. Looks better. You got, your correction to the upside right there, whatever you'd like to call it. Your ABC. You got your also another ABC up there. I'll just do it ahead of time. Right? And then here you got your ABC coming to the downside. But keep in mind that these are zigzags, and within each one here, right? Of course, they can take on different formations, etc. And you can break it down further as well. You can call that ABC to the AB there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like that. But the point is that this one here will have another ABC as well. Easier to just copy and paste sometimes, like that. You know what I'm saying? This makes a lot of sense, right? Okay, just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we got, first of all, coming from the upside here, we go to the W. The W is where the X ended up failing, but it attempts the impulse wave going to the upside. And then we get the ABC to the downside, because now we get the double correction. A double correction occurs when there's an X failure, because the impulse wave simply did not make it past any type of impulsive move. And then once the Y ends, we get an impulse wave attempted to the upside. I just call it ABC because it's very simple. Okay, simple. It could be even on the 5th wave that failed as well, right? We don't know. exactly, but sorry guys. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we get this basically makes sense, right? So then you get the ABC coming down with another impulse wave going to the upside, but it can fail. It can fail on the 5th wave even. It can fail on 3rd wave. It can fail on the 1st wave. I just call it ABC for simplicity. And then it makes its final zigzag correction to the downside, which we end up seeing it as an ABC. Okay? Oh no, I did not want to delete all that. I definitely did not want to, yeah, let me just Alt-Z all this back here. There you go. A lot better. Okay, perfect. All right, let's go to the 6-hour chart now. And now what we're going to see here is this. We're going to see this huge impulse wave going to the upside, right? So now the way that I'm seeing this is that is where the origin was, 0. This is where the first one was. This is where the W is. That's where the first X is. This is where the first Y is right here. That is where the X is again. Actually, we failed. How do we fail? Easy. We fail simply because, well, if you have an impulse wave going to the upside, the best way that I see wave failure is many ways, okay? Wave failure could occur is if wave 2 falls more than 100% of where wave 1 began. It can go to 99.999999 repeating, but if it goes 100%, automatic wave failure, okay? Now another way that it can fail easily is, hey, what if wave 3 double topped? Right there for some reason, and then wave 4 was like ended up going well below. There's many ways. What we can say is this: wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest. So which means that it can be shorter than wave 1, but it has to be longer than wave 5. Or it can be longer than wave 5, but it can be shorter than wave 1, right? Like it can mean many things. It has to basically be longer than at least one of them. That's kind of a better way to put it. Okay? So yeah, so sometimes you even get 5 wave failures, but then that when you're doing the ABC correction of some sort, it's something drastic happens and it falls below this point of origin right there. So let's just say the ABC ended up doing something like that. Well, you can't really say this is an impulse wave because now it has fallen below more than 99% of that origin. So now the way that I'm looking at it is like this. Okay? The way I'm looking at it is now we're hunting for an ABC, and the way that I'm seeing this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, many ways. Actually, let's go to 12-hour even. A little bit better. It's probably 1, 2. I'm gonna guess that's 3 right here, babies. This could be 3, and we could be working on 4. Okay, so here are my 2 theories. We could be working on 3, and there's still one more dip down right now, because right now it's very difficult for me to count the 4th wave going to the upside. Or we could be entirely done already. And if we are entirely done already, and for some reason this was 3, this was 4 right there. Okay. Is that possible symmetrically? Yeah, it actually is if you look at it closely, okay? And that's 5. Is that possible? It's hard to believe, right? But we gotta factor that in, okay? So now, let's just say that this is the case here. Then clearly, we're gonna be looking for some sort of correction to the upside. And of course, 8,100 was my target all along, 8,000, okay? Because I'm very conservative. Now, don't get me wrong, it can go all the way up to 9,100. But realistically, I don't think it's going to have that bullish of a retracement. I think that based off the Elliot wave theory, like, one of these ranges here is very realistic. 8,100 first, we got to go with that. So if this is the case right here, then we're simply hunting for an ABC. wherever it is to the upside. Okay, now let's just say my hypothesis is wrong. What, right? And we're actually just doing wave 4 right now only, and we just finished wave 3. Then what we would do is we would lower our range where we take the Fibonacci only from the origin of wave 2 and right here. And we take it right here. Okay. And now I'm going to draw a different box with the red. Okay. Just watch. I'm going to say from here, which is 7,800 about, to about 8,600. So right here, the first red zone is a great zone right now to consider target, like for myself I meant, based on how I'm extrapolating this data. Okay, red zone's beautiful. And then where it overlaps the green and the red, that's more of a more of a neutral zone with still decent probability of getting there. And in my opinion, the green one, that's like an aggressive one where, you know, it'd be pretty hard to get up there, in my opinion. So then after all of this happens, in my opinion, and if I'm entirely wrong, we're just simply going to simply fall back well below 7,400. But do you know how long it took for us to break above 7,400? A while. Okay. It took us about 4 to 5 days to break through it. So there's no way we're going to get right back below it anytime soon. When we've been hammering at it, how many times now? Once, fell, twice, third times, 4 times it took to hammer at it before it broke through. So those are my thoughts right now, okay? If we fall below 7,400, then I gotta give you an alternate count. If we get to at least 7,800, bam, I'm right. I'm gonna ride this thing to about 8,100 to see what happens, and I cannot wait for the reaction under 86 if it makes it above 8,100. So right now as it stands, I think that we're either in wave 4, going to the upside, or we are in all of this is done already. Okay, all of this is done already, and now we're doing ABC correction to the upside. I don't know yet. Time will tell. I will keep you very much so posted. But folks, if I'm right about this, and this is right now is only the wave 5, that means that, you know, if whatever, we're gonna get ABC to the upside. I said whatever as in if it happens, whatever, right? Cool. So let's just see, we get a retracement and 5 gets to like, I don't, let's say 6,700 even. And this goes up to there, right? And then, you know, you can take Fibonacci extension and you can easily extrapolate that if I'm right about this case and we even get to like the crappiest thing, you know, like the most bullish retracement. I don't really want to say this to you guys, but like we're still looking like around 5K ranges, you know? Yeah. That's kind of a bomb that just dropped, right? If I am right about this Elliot wave count, guys, we're going to be looking at some hurting. I'm not kidding at all. I hope you guys know that if I'm right once again and we do get an extended, this is only 1, 2, 3, 4 and the 5, and we're getting an ABC to the upside, we could be seeing 5K ranges. Unless there's an entirely different count that I don't have in here already, I will let you guys know, okay? So these are my thoughts. I tried to keep this as professional as I could possibly do, or have it. Yeah, thank you very much for all the love and the support as always, guys. And just for the people that are still curious about my courses, they're no longer available on Udemy for now until much into December because there's only a limited amount of coupons available. So if you guys are actually interested in it, you got to contact me right away. I'm going to let you guys download it and pay for it by crypto. This way you'll always have a copy of it, and I think that's going to be very beneficial as well. And you can always come approach me on Twitter, and that's going to be kind of cool when you have some questions to ask there. But more importantly, that this will not be available on Udemy anymore after 2019. It's going to be completely taken down, and the reason for that is because I want to make an updated version of courses 1 and 2, and it's for free. Nothing will be charged if you have it already, just to be very clear, okay? If you have it already, I'm going to give you the updated content for free because I just feel like doing it for fun. Kind of cool, right? So whether you purchased it by crypto and you download it or whatever you have in Udemy, we'll figure that out. And you guys will have the updated copy for free. Kind of cool. And then will I be selling it? Haven't decided that yet, but probably not for a very, very long time because I don't want to saturate the market with what I know because I'm actually starting to value my work a lot. Hasn't happened before. Have yourselves a great night. I'll see you tomorrow for a really, really wicked update. Bye now.